You are a retail investor in Tesla, and you're very active within the X community of Teslarati or Tesla retail investors more broadly, Professor Anderson. But just lay it out for us, as an active investor, talk to us about the goals, the milestones, how you interpret them, as well as being a professor in corporate governance. Are they that hard to achieve for Elon Musk to get what could be up to $1 trillion in pay?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about how large the potential awards are here, but I think there hasn't been enough talk about how ambitious this plan actually is, requiring Elon Musk to grow this company to 8.5 trillion in market capitalization and 400 billion in EBITDA. So I think, this is ultimately a question of will this company be able to retain Elon Musk, who I think it's fair to say his value has been priced into the shares already quite significantly. It's more than just, in my opinion, more than just a good idea to approve this pay package. It's actually essential for this company to transition to the next stage that's contemplated by the award.
You talk about the 8.5 trillion that they need to reach in terms of market cap, but there's also the milestones, 20 million cars, 10 million on FSD. You've got to see 1 million robots out there, an army that he calls them. But Professor, what's interesting is some have pointed out potential caveats here. They've talked about the board potentially being able to award him perhaps the first 3 tranches of the money promised, if perhaps the milestones were interfered with in some way. Maybe it's disasters, war, maybe it's interference by government, but also just other unspecified circumstances. So does that give you any pause from a corporate governance perspective?
Well, I mean, not really. I mean, it's normal for force majeure type considerations to be taken into account. I mean, somewhat ironically, when ISS recommended a vote against it, it took into account it specified that there was a lack of precision in some of the milestones, but also simultaneously said that the milestones didn't give the board enough discretion in the future to adjust it. So, I think it's a no-win situation in terms of writing a plan like this, because obviously unexpected events can occur that you can't fully anticipate in writing the plan. So I don't think those are particularly problematic. I mean, I think probably the most common criticism I've heard is that the first step of the milestone at $2 trillion market cap, people would have said it's too easy to achieve. But I think what that fails to appreciate is that the market has already priced in the fact that it believes this pay package will pass and that Elon will be retained for at least some period of time. So it's priced in his value already. And it's a situation where he's kind of cursed by his own success of, making the milestones easier to achieve because it's already priced in the value of his contribution. So, I sort of feel like some of the criticisms have been a bit unfair in that regard.
Well, some of the criticisms more broadly have been almost reminiscent of what happened in 2018, and the idea that basically corporate governance is lacking because a lot of people on the board are too close to him. How do you think that this pay package in 2025 answered that?
Yeah. So, I mean, the pay package now had the benefit, if you want to call it that, of a completely adjudicated Delaware opinion on that 2018 pay package. So they were able to address just about everything that the chancellor identified in that, including a totally different, having a special committee this time with totally different composition, addressing all the procedural aspects that the chancellor took issue with in the court opinion, as well as producing an extensive report that is more extensive than anything that I recall seeing in recent memory, to try to address all those concerns, in addition to, of course, the shareholder vote.
You are, of course, a shareholder. Musk himself is a significant shareholder. He wants to be more of a significant one. He's got about 15% that he could put weight behind. He in Texas is allowed to vote for his own pay package in this respect. So many say, actually, this is just going to pass, but it's more an idea of the court of public opinion. They need to pass with such a majority to prove that this is borne out right. What do you make of that, Rob? Do you think that it will pass with flying colors in that respect and enough to stop the criticism continuing?
I think it will. Yeah, I think the shareholders other than Musk and Kimball will vote very substantially in favor of it. Frankly, the main criticisms I hear are certainly not coming from the retail shareholders, who overwhelmingly are not just supported, but I think are nervous that it won't pass by enough. And I think the value that Musk brings to this company, it's undeniable. If he left tomorrow, you can imagine what would happen to the stock price. And so I think it's unfair not to give him the benefit of the fact that the stock price has gone up by, looking at it now, at $130 since this pay package was even announced, right? So the market loves it. I don't see any criticism there. Really, it's just the sort of rigid voting restrictions of the proxy advisors that are going to be the obstacle here. It's the cookie cutter approach they have to apply because they have to try to treat Tesla like every other company when it's not similar to a hired CEO who's come in from the outside to manage a mature company. This is a founder-led company.